ahead.
Good morning. Today is Monday, the 3rd of November 2025. Yes, Happy New Month to you. My name is Audley, and you are welcome to High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM, your weekday news analysis show where we review and analyze the news and also talk about the issues affecting us as citizens of Nigeria, ranging from politics to education to health and other topical stories making rounds in the country. All right, we are live on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on High Voltage News. Like, comment, and share the video for others to be part of the conversation this morning. And you can join us live on the studio by calling in on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. And please ensure that when you do call or leave a comment, it should be very clean and civil. All right, this morning we'll be talking about President Donald Trump designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. All right, the announcement has drawn global attention. It has drawn a lot of figures, international figures, to talk about what is happening in Nigeria. And this is a very sensitive matter. We've talked about it here before. We've talked about the Christian genocide of a thing that is going on in the country. We've addressed it here. And ever since it came out, ever since the Senator Ted Cruz spoke about it, it has been triggering a lot of responses from the leaders, from the government officials, to those in the citizens. And now the US president has put his own mouth into what is going on in the country. So over the weekend, he made a series of public statements. He accusing the Nigerian government of allowing the killing of Christians and warning that the United States might take action if it continues. He said that Christianity is facing a lot of existential threats in Nigeria, and that the US will not stand by while people are being slaughtered. So this is a strong statement. It's one that immediately drew attention across the international and political circles. It's the one that is involving a lot of people into the matters that is going on in the country. Here at home, here in Nigeria, it has raised a lot of questions. People are asking, is there truly a targeted genocide against Christians in Nigeria? People are asking whether this is another broad accusation driven by misinformation. And we are also asking, what will this mean for Nigeria? Diplomatically, the sanctions, the pressure, is there military consequence? What is it going to mean for us as Nigerians? All right, and more importantly, what does it say about our own government's ability to protect the citizens? What are the governments doing about the protection of the citizens? Is it regardless of the religion, regardless of the tribe? What has the government done so far to ensure that people are living peacefully, that we are safe in our country? So this is what we are going to be looking at this morning, because for many Nigerians, this issue touches a very something deep, frustration over years of insecurity, killings in the north, killings in the southwest, everywhere, in the middle belt, everywhere in the country. There's a lot of killings going on. So people are, and it's reawakening. Is reawakening a lot for people who have lost their loved ones to this insecurity, to this banditry, to terrorism or genocide, whatever we tend to call it. A lot of people have lost their loved ones to this. And now, this particular moment, the federal government, are they going to step up? Are they going to do something? Or will they just keep talking? Are they going to swing into action to ensure that people are safe in the country? All right, so that is what we will talk about. But first, Let's take a look at the top stories on today's papers. Alright, Nigeria's resident doctors are disputing the federal government's claim of releasing 11.9 billion naira for their arrears and allowances. The president of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Mohammed Suleiman, says the claim is misleading, explaining that only about 500 million naira is meant for resident doctors. He insists that the total figure in question is closer to 6 billion naira, covering different categories of health workers, not just for the doctors. So that the so-called allowance and the arrears, he says, are old entitlements that has been owed for over 2 years. So Suleiman accuses the Ministry of Health of exaggerating payments to make it look as if all demands have been met, when in reality most issues, including the welfare, including the recruitment, including the fairness in treatment, remained unresolved. The federal government are yet to resolve these issues. So the claim of this 11.9 billion naira that has been released, the president of the National Association of Resident Doctors is disputing that claim. That is not true. That the federal government has not released any amount like this to the doctors. Alright, so they also condemned the dismissal of 5 doctors in Lokoja, describing it as victimization of union leaders. But still, he praised the Minister of Finance for promptly addressing the financial side of the crisis, while urging President Bola Tinubu to compel the Health Ministry to genuinely engage with the doctors. So it's one thing to agree with the doctors on this is what we are going to offer you. It's another thing to tell us that you've released 11.9 billion naira to the doctors, and at the end of it, they are saying that it is not true. That is not true, that the federal government did not release anything to them. All right, and the issue of this strike, recall that they went on strike on November 1st, 2025. So they are currently on strike. And this issue of this strike, they are not working. It means that the patient needs to wait. With your sickness, you need to wait. So the government needs to step in and address these issues once and for all. We can't keep hearing of strike as a result of unpaid arrears, unpaid allowances, unfair treatment to the doctors. These are the people who are supposed to be saving lives. And if they are not around, we don't know what's going to happen to these lives. We do not know. So the federal government really needs to do something about it. All right, next on the newspaper, tensions are rising between Nigeria and the United States over alleged persecution of Christians in northern states under the Sharia and blasphemy laws. So a new U.S. bill could impose sanctions on Nigerian officials, the judges, the traditional rulers, following Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern by President Trump. So the Nigerian government insists that Sharia applies only to Muslims and that all citizens enjoy freedom of religion under the Constitution. All right, authorities highlight that the Boko Haram and ISIS are the real threats, and counter-terrorism efforts target everybody, regardless of faith. Okay, so the federal government says that this is not about Christians being killed. It's about everybody being targeted by these bandits, by these terrorists, that both Christians, Muslims, and those who do not even have any faith are also targeted. They are being killed. All right, but still the incidents of this mob violence that we see, the alleged religious persecution, have drawn international attention. It has drawn a lot of international attention to those outside of Nigeria. You know, we inside, we keep hearing of this person was attacked was killed because of blasphemy, because they spoke against Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad. So these are the things they're trying to tackle. That the Islamic religion is against every other religion in the country. Meanwhile, the government says that it is not true, that this is not what is happening, it is not the way the international bodies see it, is not what is currently happening in the country. All right, moving on, the crisis within the People's Democratic Party has deepened, with former Governor Samuel Orton of Benue and Ayo Fayose of Ekiti backing the Wike-led faction of the party's National Working Committee. Both blamed acting national chairman Umar Damagun for the party's worsening problems, describing his leadership as exclusionary and incompetent. All right, the dispute comes as the party prepares for its national elective convention, scheduled for November 15 to 16. And we see that the tensions escalated after the Federal High Court in Abuja issued an injunction halting the convention, pending the compliance with the party's constitution and the Electoral Act. So over the time, we've had this crisis within the People's Democratic Party, crisis between the leaders. There are so many factions, the Wike-led faction, Makinde-led faction, and all this. There are a lot of factions going on in PDP. So little wonder why people are leaving the party for another party. Because you can't keep fighting. There has to be unity. For this 2027 election to hold, for us to have a strong opposition, the PDP needs to look at internally, find out what is going wrong, and deal with the issue within the party, and ensure there's unity before the 2027 election. Because if it continues like this, it's already sure that they are going to lose if they continue like this. Because you cannot be divided against yourself and expect to win the other opposition parties. All right. Next on the newspaper headlines, we see coup controversies. Silva's brother, driver still in custody. And student loan applicants hit 1 million. Now Fund says that the student loan applicants hit 1 million. This is to show that there are people, a lot of people that really wants to go to school, but because of the economy, they do not have what it takes. And they do not have any option than to go for the loan. So the economic hardship going on in this country also needs to be addressed. The government needs to look at the reforms. Are they really affecting us positively? And when we are talking about the hardship, we are still hearing of the 15% tariff on petrol imports, which is going to affect a lot. Meanwhile, Dangote has said that it's not going to affect the prices of the petrol. We are looking, it's going to start next year. So by next year, we are going to know the outcome of this import tariff, the 15%. That's a lot of money. All right, so next we see NDLEA arrests musician, uncovers Lagos illicit drug laboratory. All right, so Diri joins APC today, cites Bayelsa's interests. Diri joins APC today and cites Bayelsa's interests. All right, this morning, these are the top stories that we have this morning on the newspaper headlines. These are the top stories, and we will go on a short break. We're going on a short break, and when we come back, we will dive right into what we have for this morning.
It's about to get welcome to the show, and a presenter that won't stop giving it their all. Hi, my name is Ogio, your pilot one, and I'm passing the mic to the one that has current affairs in her palms.
Hello everyone, my name is Odili and I'm passing the mic to the judge and peacemaker in Volt FM Sports.
I am Godwin and I'm passing the mic to the Igbo culture expert giving us cultural gist.
Hey, we'll go your man again monthly. I found by teaching us. Actually, me, your mic. It's only Onias Nari Kapunisi, Majonari Jenilanjo.
What's up, my people? I go by the name Nonto with the magic voice, aka King of Badbella United. And I'm passing the mic to one person when they click for anything right for Katon.
Hi, Vault family. My name is John, and I'm passing the mic to the driver when they collect fare. You know now.
Hi neighbor, it's Jason here and I'm passing the mic to the one that has the magic to heal your broken heart.
My name is Malaika, and I am passing the mic to you. Yes, you, for being part of.
Gold 104.3 FM.
Welcome back to High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM. If you're just joining us, we are analyzing the unfolding situation following President Donald Trump's designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, citing the widespread killings of Christians. Now let's get into the full story. Over the weekend, President Donald Trump issued two strongly worded statements accusing the Nigerian government of failing to protect Christians in the country, warning of possible U.S. military action and suspension. And they're going to suspend the the assistance that they give to Nigeria. All right, I will read exactly what he said. All right, Christianity. By Donald Trump, he says that Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. But that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered like is happening in Nigeria, something must be done. He goes further to say that I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriation Committee, to immediately look into the matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. All right, so this is what he said. And then he followed with another message, even stronger one. He said, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. All right, so those are the words of President Trump. Now, whether you agree with this tone or not, these statements have serious diplomatic and security implications for Nigeria. It has a lot of implication for Nigeria. All right, meanwhile, the presidency has responded to this. The presidency, through Daniel Brala, the special advisor to the president on policy communication, has responded, saying that President Bola Tinubu will meet with Trump in the coming days to discuss the allegations and clarify the situation. Brala says that both leaders have shared interests in the fight against insurgency to deal with the insecurity going on in the country, that both President Trump and President Bola Tinubu have the same interests to ensure that the people are living safely in the country. All right, so this conversation, he says that the conversation will help to correct the misconceptions about the nature of attacks in Nigeria. All right, meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has echoed the same threats. As at yesterday, he tweeted that saying that the Department of War is preparing for action if Nigeria fails to protect Christians. That's where things get even more intense. Because what happens when they declare a war in Nigeria? What happens to the rest of the citizens? What happens to us? Because we've seen a lot of things going on when the international bodies intervene in other countries. We see what goes on in those countries. We see a lot. All right, moving on. First of all, let's analyze this. This is not the first time in Nigeria. This is not the first time we are finding ourselves in this position. Back in 2014, yes, when former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was in his administration, similar accusations of incompetence were made. And this accusation came from some of the leaders, the current leaders that we have in this current administration. They accused, then they said it was about Boko Haram. Then it was about Boko Haram, but currently it is still about insecurity. We are all talking about insecurity. We are all talking about the killings of people in the country. So instead of arguing whether it's genocide, instead of arguing whether it's terrorism, I think the real concern should be that history is repeating itself. It keeps happening and happening. Nigeria is moving in circles. We keep seeing the same thing happen all over with nothing done about it. All right, so what does it say about our system when we keep seeing things? It means that Nigeria needs a radical reform. We need a reform. We need the politicians who are willing to fight. Because it's not that the country does not have, we have the resources, we have the money, we have the people, the soldiers, the army, we have the capacity, what we need to fight insecurity. But we lack political will. Leaders who are not willing to engage, leaders who are not willing to fight, who are not willing to do anything about the insecurity, the persistent insecurity in the country. We just have leaders who keep writing, giving us a lot of tweets on social media, coming out to condole with the lives that were lost, and not swing into action and not do anything. And when citizens decide to do something about it, they come against the citizens. This is the country we found ourselves in. So we do not need political promises. We need real intentional reform that addresses policing, that addresses justice and accountability. This is what we need as a country. Exactly. And secondly, the arguments about whether Trump is right or wrong will not bring back the lives that has been lost. It will not bring them back. There is bloodshed in Nigeria. There's a lot of bloodshed in Nigeria. There's a lot we are seeing every day. We keep hearing that people are abducted. We keep hearing that people are kidnapped and killed in this country, in the north, in the middle belt, everywhere. People are being attacked. So if whether it's terrorism we want to target, whether we want to target genocide, whatever it is, whether we want to agree with the President of the United States, what we know is that people are being killed on a daily basis in this country. So Christians, Muslims, those without religions are all victims. We are all victims. But most times what we keep seeing is mass burial of Christians. We see a lot of mass burial of Christians. So you would not blame anyone who says that there is Christian genocide in the country, because it's mostly them that are being attacked. So now, if the US designation will pressure our government to do something, then it is okay. Because they've been hearing about this. We've been talking about it. The government knows about it. They don't even need us to say anything. They see what happens. They read the news. But they've not done anything about it. So if this designation will make the government take security more seriously, then maybe it's the wake-up call we all need as a country. This is exactly what we need at this point, so that they will stand up and start doing something about it. But I also worry. There's a lot of worry around this because we've seen that foreign intervention, we've seen what foreign intervention can do in other countries. We see Iraq, we see Afghanistan, we see Libya. We see what it is doing there. It's not positive. The intervention is affecting the people negatively. And we are hoping that any sanction should not be upon the citizens that are already suffering. Yes, we're already suffering. We are the victims. So it should go to the political class and not on the citizens who are already going through a lot in this country. All right, so at the end of the whole thing, Nigeria doesn't need pity. We do not need pity. We need, like I said before, we need political will. We need leaders who are willing to stand up and defend the citizens. All right, we'll be taking your calls shortly, but before we do that, let us take reactions on social media. Let's see what people are saying about this. All right, so one person wrote, "It's quite pathetic that what's at the forefront of almost every politician in this country now is 2027, and that has somewhat relegated governance to the backstage. When you are being careful in order to be re-elected or elected, you tend to act ignorant or choose to live in denial of the things happening in the country. So it's about grabbing power and staying in power. And sadly, our well-being might be nowhere on the list." All right, another person wrote, "The government of Nigeria and USA can work together to wipe out this insurgency with ease. That is, if the Nigerian government isn't involved in this insecurity. But if our government officials are part of this insecurity, it will be extremely difficult. At that point, it would be appropriate for the USA government to sanction those officials." All right, this is what we have on social media. And at the points like this, at this time, we would like to hear your voice. What do you have to say about the declaration of Nigeria as a country of particular concern? Call us on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. Let's hear from you. Do you support President Trump's decision to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern? Or do you think this is the kind of pressure our leaders need? Or you think it's an unnecessary interference in our internal affairs? What do you think about it? Call us this morning and let us know. And also you can drop a comment on our social media, on YouTube, on High Voltage News. Drop a comment, be part of the conversation. Let us know exactly what you think about the situation. Because while we look around, we've talked about it, yes, but this is is unfolding. Every time it keeps unfolding about this Christian genocide. And we want to know your thoughts. We want to know what exactly you think on this issue. All right, we'll be taking our first call this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you are welcome. Please, your name and your location.
Yeah, this is Chigozeko from Enugu.
All right, please go ahead.
Okay. Personally, I've always felt that maybe our government are helpless.
Okay.
Maybe they don't know what to do to combat this atrocity going on. Not just in the north, but even in the south and on every other part of this country. You know, that's what I feel as a woman. You know, during the last administration of Buhari, I was just feeling maybe he's sympathetic to the guys doing that thing, and he doesn't want to come out in full force against them. But then, after the US gave this marching order to Nigeria, I noticed, in fact, I read on the social media twice the army have had to put up a post of how they neutralize the bandits and all these things.
Mm.
So does it mean that all this while they know what to do and they just choose to be wicked
Kept
and
quiet on the whole thing.
yes, and
Mm.
not protect the people?
Mm.
Like why? Sometimes I begin to imagine our politicians, what their body is made up of. Because how would you, even if it's not your brother, your friend, or anybody, the sight of all these dead people,
Mm.
thousands of people dying every day, and you choose to do nothing? I can't even wrap my head around it.
Mm.
And then if it's going to take the Americans warning them or giving them the machine or even coming into our country for them to work, so be it.
Okay.
Because this death is one too many. It's too much. How can people be dying there? These are, sometimes I tell myself, these are people's mom, dad, sisters, and siblings.
Mm.
Just like I have my own mom, dad, and everyone.
Mm.
Imagine if I'm in their shoes, if I'm losing either of my relatives almost on daily basis. In fact, you're not even promised of tomorrow. So if American warning them, we make them to sit up, then so be it. Then if it means them coming in for us to be sure of our lives, that is for tomorrow, so be it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, 0706-048-5853 or 0915-570-8347. All right, so the caller said, if it has to be with them, we're coming into the country for our leaders, for the government officials to wake up, then so be it. Let them come in so that this insecurity will end. So you too can call us and let us know what you think about the whole thing going on in the country, the designation, the involvement of the US. Do you think it's right for them to involve themselves? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome. Please, your name and your location.
My name is Batman Electric. I'm calling from Michigan.
All right, please go ahead.
Based on the issue at hand, for me, I'm speaking on my own, and what I speak is my own opinion.
All right.
I think it's a record development. It's a good step in the right direction for the US to either sanction Nigeria or come into the country to see the way they can help the Christians. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Because there is something our politician or government are not telling us. Because you see the kind of killing, massive killing happening, and there's nothing that government is doing about it. They're not saying anything. You only read it from the news, and that's the end. After this month, another thing will come up, will start trending, we forget about the thing that happened. Many things that is happening that the government does not show interest. Okay, just look at the recent list